Alright, let's go, guys. This is DM here, and today we're going to do something a little different. I want to do this video really quick. It's going to be kind of a review on the Warcraft movie, and I'm sorry just in advance. My voice sounds really funny because I'm sick and I'm kind of losing it. And I'm probably going to do that a lot, and I apologize. But I wanted to do this while the movie was still out relatively shortly. It came out this past Friday. I'm doing this on Sunday night, and so the Warcraft movie, right, it had a lot of people having different kinds of opinions. There were some people who were like, oh, the people who have seen it and never played a Warcraft movie are going to come and it's going to be horrible and we're going to hate them and blah, blah, blah. There were some people who were like, oh, they're going to change too much to fit it in a movie. If it's another origin story, all the WoW players are going to be like, oh, I already know what happens. This is dumb and anything you change is dumb. Um, I don't know. I got to say, I did notice some little changes. There was, I think, one major change in there, and I'm not gonna do any spoilers or anything, so you're safe from that. But there was one change in there that I think I had an issue with, but it was honestly such a small thing in the grand scheme of things that it wasn't a big deal. It was an origin story, so for anybody who's played World of Warcraft or Warcraft 3 or Warcraft 2 or Warcraft 1, like I have, I've played all the Warcraft games and all the expansions for WoW up till Legion so far, you will kind of be like, hey, I already know what's gonna happen. Like there's some foreshadowing in there, and some of the lines in there are a little cheesy, for especially when you know what's coming. So you do kind of get like a heads up, like, hey, I think I know what's going on here, but it's whatever. Overall, though, I would say that the orcs were really well done. Like CGI and just the imagery of it, they were done super well, super well. I was actually a little pissed that it seemed like the protagonists were the humans. Not pissed, but I would have liked to have seen even more of the orcs. I know the movie and really the game is about both sides, but I thought the orcs were cool. So and I've always been a horde fan, so for the horde. Uh, That's just me. That's just personality. I'm gonna tell you the number one thing. All right. So there's a number one good thing, and there was a number one thing that annoyed the crap out of me. I didn't realize it until actually after, like I had gone away from the movie and thought about it for the number one thing. We're gonna start off with the good thing. The number one thing I loved about this movie is the scenery in the movie. It was amazing. Like you saw in the first 10 minutes, I think you saw like Stormwind and Ironforge. Ironforge looked awesome. Stormwind looked amazing. There's one scene where somebody's riding in on a hippogriff or a griffin, whatever, whichever one they happen to use, to Stormwind, and it is literally like you're in the game in World of Warcraft riding in, and like the double archway, the little aviary that they have there, it is that scene. And I am waiting for somebody to put up a picture from the movie, like a still screen from the movie and a still screen from the game, and compare them side by side. Because I tell you, it was like you were playing World of Warcraft for a second. Like it confused me for a second. I was like, wait, what? Why am I? Is the game on the movie? Like, do I need a keyboard? Like, what's going? It was crazy how good it looked, and not just that, but anything from the forest, the cities, the Dalaran. Oh God, when you got to see Dalaran, that was cool. Excuse me. When you get to see Dalaran, and you do get to see Dalaran, if you call that a spoiler, I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, it's the first game you're hoping to see pretty much everywhere. But yeah, yeah. All right, and this part might be a little spoilery. Um, it's another good thing that I just remembered. Uh, the last scene of the movie when one of the main characters, I won't even tell you who, because I'm trying to avoid spoilers, lifts up his sword in front of like all these people. It's on the Alliance side, and he goes, for the king, for the Alliance. I tell you, I shit you not, I sat there in the movie theater and got chills. I don't even know what it was, but it was like, oh, that image of I don't know, maybe it was the city, maybe it was everybody responding back to him, maybe it was just hearing for the Alliance in such like a huge setting like that. Whatever it was, gave me chills sitting there in the theater, and I loved it. It was so good. It was so cool. And honestly, me and my wife went and saw it. My wife plays World of Warcraft. She hasn't played any of the other Warcraft games. She's seen me play it. I've talked to her a little bit about like lore and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. We both enjoyed it. I hear there's a rumor. I don't know if this is true, but I hear that they are actually already um, going to make a second one. Like they planned on making a second one. Ah, that's a nice dunk. I put that up in the background, by the way, so that you guys have something to look at other than me. Um, it's a video from YouTube. It is somebody else playing a game. It is a really good game. It's one of my favorite YouTubers, actually. And you can see the names right there. Um, but yeah, so we both enjoy the movie. We both are. If there is a second one, I will go see a second one. If they do one movie per game, which I can't imagine why they wouldn't do it that way, um, I would definitely go see the second one, the third one. If they go through every expansion for World of Warcraft, I don't care. You keep making them, and it'll be like the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Underworld movies, where they just apparently want to keep making them. Whatever. Um, so the one thing that did annoy me, the character Garona. If you've read the books, you know this character. I don't remember how much the character got mentioned in the games. Garona is a orc female. She's like a slave who I'm not gonna tell you what she does, but it's not even a story thing that bothered me. It was an acting thing that bothered me. This actress who did not do a bad job. I'm not knocking the actress. I can't remember what her name is, and I'm not gonna look it up right now. But this woman did not understand that she was not supposed to be a seductress. The way she looked at people, the way she moved her head and moved her body when she was talking to people, just everything about it. I realized later it always looked like she was like, hey, you gotta think I'm sexy because I'm, this orc and I'm half nude and blah blah blah, and there's supposed to be a romance element and blah blah blah. It didn't ruin the movie. I understand that they were trying to add kind of like a romantic part to it so that they could appeal to that audience, and I guess it worked. Um, but it was one of those things that like you kind of notice and you're like, are we doing this? Are we gonna do this right now? Like this orc is just trying to seduce, and like she's seducing, not seducing. She's talking to even like other other women who are humans, and just the way she talked to them was like sexy, and you're like, why? Why are you sexy right now? It's crazy, but whatever. But overall, like I said, I saw it, I liked it. My wife saw it, we liked it. I would honestly go see it again. I almost never go and see theaters in the movie twice, just because I think it's a waste of money, especially with how expensive movies are. God, movies are expensive now. But I would go see this one again. There was a couple other, like I think in my entire life, there's been like two, maybe three movies total that I would go see again. I think one of the Hobbits was one. This is one, and there's like one or two other ones that maybe I would go see again in theaters. Um, Aside from that, oh, one of the Avengers movies. I think Avengers 2. Me and my wife went to go see in theaters, and I was like, I would go see that again. Like I would go and get another ticket for the next showing right now and go see it again. Um, I'm definitely gonna buy this when it comes out on Blu-ray. Um, I recommend it to anybody who is a Warcraft fan or who isn't a Warcraft fan. And actually, we're gonna talk about something. We're gonna get a little serious right at the end of this real quick. But overall, though, I would think the movie. I would do an 8.5 out of 10. The acting bothered, like I said, that one acting thing kind of bothered me a little bit, and it was distracting. Now that I think about it, like that's all I can think about is like how she was talking to people. So that kind of like not bothered me, but took away from it. But yeah, overall everything else was really good. Some cheesy plot lines here and there, and the slight history changes. And honestly, for me, they weren't a big deal because I try to always look at something different. Like if they do like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, the Chronicles of Narnia, anything that's been a book and becomes a movie, I try to look at Harry Potter. I try to look at like, hey, these are two separate things. You can't compare apples to oranges because they're just never going to be the same. They're even movies that follow the book really well do not follow it so well that nothing changes. there's always going to be a change. So I just try to look at it as completely different. So that the history changes didn't bother me, but for other people, I know that was a big thing that came out. A lot of people were really worried about that. So I would give it an 8.5 out of 10 for other people. Me personally, I'd give it probably a 9, maybe even a 9.5. There is one thing, and I just want to touch on this. And I want to bring this up, something that bothers the crap out of me. Saturday, day after the movie came out, I'm on Facebook, right? And I see an article come up, and it is a picture of this guy who is Chinese. You know, and if you read the article, he's actually Chinese. Nobody give me like, oh, it was really a Japanese guy, and I'm calling him Chinese. Guy Chinese in China. I think it actually said he was in Hong Kong. Went to see this movie, dressed up like cosplayed in armor and all kinds of stuff. And turns out the guy was cosplaying as Garen, who's a League of Legends character, not a World of Warcraft character. He's a League of Legends character. Now, Garen would do his armor, his character, everything would fit great in a World of Warcraft movie. So I could understand. Like, the era is the same. His armor does kind of look like some of the armor, like for the paladins and stuff from the games. Honestly, I could see him making a mistake. And you know what? Maybe he was joking. Maybe he was just making fun a little bit of. He went and saw the movie, so like he obviously endorsed this franchise, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But so the article wasn't about that. It was about the fact that five guys found this guy after the movie and jumped him. Think about that for a second. They found him after the movie and jumped him because he cosplayed as Garen. Oh, and he yelled out Demacia in the movie. Maybe it was during the credits. Maybe it was in the opening scene. Maybe it was during an. Hopefully, it wasn't during the movie. I personally hate it when people do stuff, during the movie. But I would never, ever. There's no excuse to get violent, you know, about something like that. So think about this. Guy cosplayed for a movie, so he put probably time and effort into his costume. He went and saw the movie, so he paid for it, so he endorsed the franchise. So if you're a Warcraft fan and you don't like League of Legends, hey man, people like both. I like both. I'm doing a Warcraft movie review with League of Legends in the background, right? People can like both. They don't have to like one or the other. It's not a competition. But these guys went and jumped him because